Hey, what's up everybody on YouTube? This is I'm in a Wheelchair, bringing you another Halo HQ video. Finally, it's been way too long. I'm just been too lazy and too busy. I say busy because I'm not really that busy. I mean, yes, I'm in college and doing classes online, but my classes are a lot easier than they were last semester. By a lot, I do mean a lot because there's no definite due dates for everything, which kind of is not a good thing for me because I tend to, what do they call it, procrastinate. I even procrastinate when there's deadlines, so when there's not deadlines, I procrastinate more. But anyway, that's besides the point. Today I'm going to be talking about a bunch of Halo 5 news, along with some opinions and kind of concerns, but they're not really concerns anymore because new footage has surfaced over the past couple weeks that I'm not too concerned with anymore, to be honest. So, the first piece of news I guess I will cover, and while talking about this news with you guys, I'm going to show some clips right here. Obviously, this is the Halo 5 beta footage that I captured. Now, I don't believe this is me playing right now. I think this is one of my friends playing, actually, because I can definitely tell when I'm playing. Just yesterday, we learned that Halo 5 has gone gold. So, and what that means is the game is completely finished. That 343 Industries is done with putting all the pieces together to make the game. Hopefully, knock on wood, that also means that they fixed all the bugs and all the issues with the game. And I think that with this generation, we kind of expect there to be bugs because people just update it and patch it and don't really care as much as they used to, because you can just update the consoles now and update the games, and it's kind of ridiculous, to be honest. But I think 343 has learned the lesson, especially with Halo 4 and the Master Chief Collection, especially because that game is plagued with bugs when it first came out. It was basically unplayable as far as the multiplayer went. The multiplayer was so broken that they had to send us a free game to make up for it, which was Halo 3 ODST, which is a good addition to the collection. And to be honest, making 4 games into one disc is a task in of itself, and it's a very hard task indeed. So I'm not really going to bash them too much for that game, as much as the community likes to. So with that being said, I'm going to move on. And you guys just witnessed my killing spree, actually, because I hardly ever get those. Not to say that I'm bad at the game again. Managed to get a killing spree for you guys there, so. Yeah, right here I'm using the SMG, so I'm going to be getting a bunch of SMG kills with some shoulder charges here. I've seen a bunch of clips regarding the campaign and regarding the multiplayer, especially. The main thing with multiplayer is that Warzone just looks amazing, and it looks like it's going to be a really fun game mode to jump into day one. I'm just really excited for the mode. I think that it's a good addition to Halo 5, and I think it's a good replacement for both big team battle fans and firefight fans. I know that there's a lot of people out there that want firefight. I'm one of them, but I think this will suffice because you're going up against AI and you're going up against players at the same time. It's 12v12, which is actually the largest that Halo's ever had, because it used to be 8 on 8, which is 16 players. Now it's 24 plus the AI. So I think it's going to be really crazy, but it's also going to be good at the same time. So with that being said, I think Warzone is going to be interesting, not only because it's going to be bigger and it's going to feature a lot of different unique battles between AI, the opposite team, because you're going to be, you don't really want to work together with the opposite team to take down AI. You want to win. It's the first to 1,000, and that means that the first to 1,000 wins. So there's different ways to go about that. For example, there is probably going to be different enemies. Well, I say probably, but there's going to be different enemies that are worth different point values. Like, for example, a hunter could be worth 25 points or something. And if you kill that hunter boss, then you get 25 points. And there's different ways to win, and there's another way to instantly win, but it's not going to be as easy as one may think. So, with that being said, there's another way to win, which is called taking down the other team's core on the base, because there's going to be like 3 bases or something like that you have to capture, and if you capture all 3 bases, the opposite team that doesn't have all the bases, their core is exposed, and once their core is exposed, you shoot the core, they win. Sounds easy, but it's not. I've actually seen gameplay of it. It's really hard to take that core down. So I think there's a really good balance here with Warzone. The other thing I want to get into really quick with Warzone is that it's going to feature rec cards that you can use during the game. And what rec packs are and what that can mean is there's permanent rec packs that you keep, like different types of BRs, ARs, and rocket launchers, Promethean weapon types, Covenant weapon types, vehicles, vehicle skins, assassination animations, helmets, visors, armor pieces, everything you could pretty much possibly think of is going to be in the game. However, with these different weapon variants, people are worried that oh man, it's like Call of Duty, there's different weapon variations and it's not fair and it's not balanced. This is only for the game mode Warzone. It's not for arena multiplayer. You can't have a BR that has a DMR scope on it. For example, in arena multiplayer, it's only featured in the Warzone playlist only. Same goes for different vehicle variants and things like that. So I think that rec packs will be very interesting. I was kind of not really against it, but I was kind of worried that it was going to be unbalanced and unfair. But after watching Warzone, I think that it's needed because Warzone seems like it's got its own difficulty, and it doesn't seem too easy to take down these different bosses. And people might be easy, but it's just I think it's going to be a nice mix and a nice change of pace for Halo and for shooters in general. I think what Halo has been known for, actually, has been known to make shooters what they are today and make multiplayer games what they are today. And I think Halo 5 is going to do that again with Warzone. It's kind of like a mix between Destiny and all these other elements. Like Titanfall with burn cards, kind of like the rec packs, they kind of remind me of that. Which actually, the Battlefront beta just came out today, and they kind of feature their own card system as well. So it's kind of interesting to see that going into different games. So anyway, I would like to move on from Warzone because I don't really want to spend too much time on Warzone. I want to spend more time on what I actually want to talk about and what I wanted to make this video for. So back in June, the E3 press conference showed Halo 5 Guardians for the first time, and I wasn't home to really see the premiere, but I came back home and watched it because I was with my mom in Wisconsin and whatnot. So I watched it, and then I saw the whole video, and I was kind of concerned because I was like, some of these effects don't look very next gen-ish to me, and the explosions looked very last gen. And as far as what I mean by that, I mean that literally it looks like it came off of the 360 in parts. Like I feel like they didn't put enough work into it. But granted, it was the stage demo, whatever. But that's usually where you bring your A game, and a lot of times people will overhaul the graphics just to make it look pretty. But with the Halo 3 demo, I wasn't really impressed. And I'm not gonna say that I'm a graphics whore, and that's just a term that people use in the gaming community to kind of just reiterate how um, paying attention to the graphics too much is just makes you look like a whore. Like it's stupid. So yeah, I'm not too much of that type of person to say, oh, it's all about the graphics and the game has to look pretty. No, but I think with the Xbox One and PS4, you need to make the games look more like they should, which means they need to look better than the previous generation. That being said, is it needs to have dynamic lighting or just better lighting, better graphics and textures, more NPCs, larger maps, better looking explosions, just you name it, whatever. I mean, not all games have to have this, but I understand we had to make compromises because the consoles really aren't what they should be, and hopefully they can find a way to better optimize these games so that they get more out of the system graphically, and not just graphically but performance wise, as far as like frame rate issues and all that stuff. That being said, I'm going to move into what I thought was wrong with the demo and how it looked lackluster, so to speak. I'm going to show you guys right here, and I might slow it down. I'm going to go back and show you guys what I mean. Like, some of the explosions and some of the set pieces just looked really weird, and it didn't look very appealing to me. Like, the explosions looked like it came out straight out of Halo 4, and some of the explosions in Halo 4 are very good, and the graphics in Halo 4 are amazing for being on the 360, let me tell you. They definitely did pull everything they could out of that box with the 360. They tried their best to make it look very next gen, which is kind of funny because being on the Xbox One now, it definitely feels next gen, especially with it being 60 frames a second and 1080p now on the Xbox One. So, the explosion just looked weird, and I just thought that the demo wasn't very graphically appealing to me. So, but overall, the game did look nice. It didn't look all horrible, but even thought that the Guardian looked weird, and it just didn't. It didn't make sense why it looked so weird. But I'm gonna show you guys another video that kind of really convinced me that this game's not gonna be that bad in the graphic department, and I'm gonna go into why some of the stuff looks a little weird as far as the textures go. It looks like it downgraded a little bit, but I'm gonna go into why that is. So before I move on, I just want to say that the next bit of footage that I'm going to show you guys is not necessarily spoiler territory, but if you do not want to see any gameplay of the campaign besides what you saw from E3, because we've all seen that by now, do not watch the rest of the video. And I will try to do my best to make sure that I put annotations for each topic that I talk about today, as far as, Halo going gold and all that other stuff and blah blah blah. So the next clip I'm going to show is a clip from, I think it's about 14 minutes or so, from Agent Locke's mission. They called it codename Swords of St. Helios, but it's not actually called that. It's called Break something. I don't remember. So again, do not watch this if you do not want to be spoiled. So that being said, let's move on. Right now, you guys are seeing Agent Locke going to this planet, the home of the elites, which is called St. Helios, getting dropped off by a phantom. We don't know who this person is that's talking, but anyway, you see him getting dropped onto the water, and the water looks nice. I think that it's one of the best looking water effects so far, besides Crisis, but that's just because Crisis goes for graphics, but that doesn't matter. Anyway, so as you can see, the gameplay looks pretty smooth. I will say that I can't show you guys the 60 frames a second because I could not get it to record in 60 frames off of the video I grabbed it from. So, and by the way, if you guys are hearing a Halo 3 going off in the background, that's just my phone. So I do apologize if you guys hear that. So as you guys can see, this game looks very pretty, and the lighting is just amazing looking. The environment itself, like the rocks and and the environment itself, the pillars, just look really awesome. And talking grunts are back, which is another amazing thing that I'm super excited for. I cannot wait for that to return. I think grunts are hilarious, and I think that Halo 4 kind of did the fans a disservice by all this sudden making the grunts not speak or the aliens at all, because it just didn't feel like Halo to me. But anyway, I think the gameplay itself, there's a part in the clip where Agent Locke just busts through the wall to get to an area. Like, you can traverse and take different paths to get an advantage on the enemy. Like, where you can just go on up on top of the cliffs through a different passageway that might be a secret passageway to maybe find a secret weapon or a skull or audio log or whatever. Easter egg, which there will be Easter eggs. Skulls are returning, and what else? There will be legendary weapons, which is what I meant by secret weapons. Not like you're gonna find a freaking mech cannon somewhere. That's not what I mean. But like, you can find a different carbine, which I think is what he's using in this clip somewhere. It seems like he's using a carbine that shoots blue. I don't really know. I'm not really sure. I can't confirm that. But anyway, and then there's the thing, I forget what it's called, but they fight this huge, that's kind of like a scarab, but it's not. It's way bigger, way scarier, and I don't remember what it's called. But that thing looks intimidating, and parts of that like looks weird to me. Like, the textures just look weird. But I think it's part of the dynamic resolution, which is what I'm going to get into next. But yeah, you guys can see the gameplay here. It looks nice. I mean, you guys can form your own opinions, but I would recommend it, watching these videos 60 frames a second in 1080p versions of these videos, because it really shows off what the game's really going to look like. And so, moving on, the next clip I will show, just to show you guys the facial animations and how the cutscenes will look in the game. For the most part, I'm going to show you guys the opening cinematic for Halo 5. Again, if you do not want to watch the opening cinematic, feel free to click away. I'm going to give you guys some time. So 3, 2, 1, click away now if you don't want to watch. Okay, you've been warned, so I don't want any freaking hate comments saying, spoiler alert. Like, I gave you a spoiler alert. So anyway, what you guys are seeing here is Fireteam Osiris is getting briefed by Infinity, by Tom Lasky, which was in Halo 4. He is also featured in Forward Unto Dawn, the miniseries that was on YouTube. I recommend that you go watch it. I do not recommend that you watch Halo Nightfall. Sorry 343, but I think Nightfall sucked. That being said, you can see that they are being briefed with Agent Log, Tanakh. Oh, what's the other chick's name? I don't remember. But we all know Buck. Buck is a former ODST turned Spartan 4, based on the Halo novel, Halo New Blood, which I recommend you go read or listen to. I got it off Audible, and I recommend that you definitely listen to that if you want to be getting ready for Halo 5. I think that's necessary material going into Halo 5. Anyway, as you can see, the facial animations look great. The mouths look a little weird when they're talking, but for the most part, they've got it down because they're using motion capture. And if you guys see Buck, you can notice that he looks a lot like Nathan Fillion, which makes sense since Nathan Fillion voices Buck from Halo 3 ODST. And they definitely went with his likeness this time around. And I'm frankly glad that they did, because I really like him as an actor, and I like him as a character in the Halo universe as Buck. He's funny, witty, and those are my favorite kind of characters. So it's looking rather nicely. It's coming along. Well, it's done now, so I mean, it just looks great. I'm excited to play this game, and I can't wait to see what this game has in store. So let me know what you guys think about the graphics. in the comments down below. Are you satisfied? Are you not satisfied? What's your guys' opinion? The last thing I will talk about is the frame rate and why it's so smooth all the time, and how they achieved having 60 frames a second the whole time while playing the game, no matter what's going on, no matter if there's a lot of stuff going on, like explosions, a lot of enemies attacking you at once, and all this other stuff. So the way they achieved 60 frames a second all the time is it's something called dynamic resolution. And for those that aren't familiar with what dynamic resolution does, which I don't think I've played a game with dynamic resolution, actually, now that I think about it. But I know there's a game that has it, which is called The Witcher 3, and whenever stuff gets too crazy, the game itself will know when to dial back the resolution so that it can always achieve 60 frames a second. And I think this is a smart choice. I mean, yes, how I would rather have, in some cases, a better looking game as long as it, performed well. And if this isn't the case, then I would prefer this method where it's dynamic resolution, dialing back the graphics and the resolution to achieve a solid frame rate. PlayStation 4, not to bash, but PlayStation 4 on the other hand is making 1080p kind of like their thing and trying to shoehorn 1080p into all their games and trying to make them all run like, and they run like crap sometimes because they're just trying to put it in there when it's not gonna work. Anyway, I'm not here to bash PlayStation 4. I think they're both great consoles, whatever. It is what it is, and people will play what they play, and if they prefer certain games, they'll play it on the PS4. If they want more 1080p games, go for it. Buy the PlayStation 4. I know the arguments out there that the PlayStation 4 is better. That's fine. I like Xbox for Halo and the multiplayer. It's whatever. But anyway, I digress. So, it's going to dial back the graphics whenever it sees fit. So, Digital Foundry did a video where it gives you an analysis of frame rate drops and everything else. And so far, this game is not really known to dip as far as frame rate goes. It's pretty much solid across the board. And so it dials back the textures, like I said, whenever things get too crazy, so that you're always having that 60 frames a second frame rate. Which I'd rather have 60 frame choppy game per se. If you're going to compromise the graphics, go ahead. And I think that's why the game looks kind of washed out in some areas, because the textures just get dialed back. So I think that's my issue with the game, but it's not really that big of an issue because, like I said, I feel like it's a smart choice. It's the right choice, especially for the multiplayer experience. So kudos to 343 for figuring out a way to do that and achieve that. I think that the lighting and everything else just looks great. I can't wait to figure out what's going on with this game. And like I said, I've seen both gameplay videos for Blue Team, which is the Master Chief's team, which features the Master Chief, Fred, Linda, and I can't remember. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I feel free to rate, comment, like, subscribe. I will be signing off. So thanks.
I need a weapon. Ah, hell.